Greetings from your pastors at Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church in the midst of Holy Week. We miss you all so much. And even though we can't gather together in person, we want to assure you that Holy Week is not canceled. Church is not canceled. In fact, we have a lot in store for you all this week that we want to tell you about.
Yes, for instance, we have our Lenten spiritual practices online. Last week, both Pastor Kate and Pastor Charlene offered two great practices that you can find on our YouTube page. And today we're releasing two more. One, some interactive lessons, an ancient practice of chanting with Ryan. And Sheena has found a way to do Stations of the Cross. So please join us on that. If you would like to do a Zoom call to do with this, next week at 4 p.m., Morgan King will be doing one. You can email him at mking@fapc.org.
On Thursday of this week, Maundy Thursday, we will not be gathering together in the sanctuary for our typical Maundy Thursday service, but we will be celebrating the Lord's Supper with you at home. And I encourage you to prepare for this service by doing a few simple things. You want to get some bread. It can be any form of bread. It can be a gluten-free cracker. It could be a tortilla. It could be a dinner roll. Get some bread and get something that you'd like to drink and put it in a cup. Prepare a cup. It could be grape juice. It could be wine. It could be water. It could be milk for the little ones. And put the bread and the cup on a table. If you have a candle, light a candle and put it on the table. Dim the lights and prepare your hearts. The Apostle Paul writes that before we come to the Lord's table, we should be reconciled with our brothers and sisters. And so I encourage you to reconcile yourself, to forgive them in your hearts, and then tune in at 6:30 on Thursday. We will be celebrating communion together.
I am very excited about that. And then the next day is Good Friday. And one of my favorite Lenten traditions at Fifth Ave is our 3-hour Good Friday service. Now, don't worry, we're not putting a 3-hour service online, but we have made 3 short videos for you to recreate the experience at home. There are a number of ways you can do this, but my personal recommendation is that you set aside that same amount of time from 12 to 3 p.m. and you watch one video at the top of each hour and then spend the rest of the time in prayer and contemplation. We hope to see you there.
And on Sunday morning, we are doing something new. We are going to have a sunrise Easter service. That means our service for Easter will be available for viewing at 6:21 a.m. this Sunday morning. And we warmly invite you to come worship with us and celebrate the resurrection of our Lord with all of us and with Christians far and wide.
By way of saying that we care about you and that we trust in God in this precarious, strange, unsettling time, I'd like to close with a reading from 1 Corinthians. This is a familiar reading that we usually hear at weddings, but I think it has particular resonance right now. So here now, 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part, but when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part, then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. And the greatest of these is love. Bless you all.
Amen.